I can't do fractions. I can't do fractions. I can't do fractions. A lot of people hate math, but few parts of elementary mathematics receive more hate than fractions. Why is this? Well, if you ask me, there are two problems. One, there are lots of rules for fractions. Two, although fractions are just numbers, fractions are expressed as relations between numbers. What's that, you ask? Fractions are just numbers, but they're expressed as relations between numbers? Yes, it's true. The first thing for every so-called fraction hater to realize is this. Every mathematical thing, a number, an equation, whatever, can be written in many different ways. We all know that 1 plus 1 equals 2, but I want you to change the way you're thinking. Instead of pronouncing the equals sign as equals, instead pronounce it as is the exact same thing as 2. The difference between 1 plus 1 and 2 is the same thing as the difference between I own a red car and a red car is owned by me. They're two sentences that express the same thought. Consider the fact that 2 over 1 equals 2. Remember the point we just made? 2 over 1 and 2 are just two names for one idea. The same way your first name can be John and your full name can be John Smith, but they're both your name. 2 over 1 doesn't just equal 2. 2 over 1 is just a more complicated way of writing 2. In mathematics, this is called an equivalence class. Stop thinking of the equals sign as a machine that turns one number into another. Start thinking of it as saying, hey, those three symbols and that one symbol are two names for the same thing. Now, the first hurdle that most people deal with when trying to learn about fractions is the difference between how something is written or expressed and what something is. That's the philosophical part. The more mathematical part is the sheer number of rules you have to deal with when dealing with fractions, but using some clever visual aids we can make the process painless. In this playlist, we'll cover addition of fractions, finding equivalent fractions, converting mixed numbers to fractions, converting fractions to mixed numbers, simplifying fractions, multiplying fractions, dividing fractions, and comparing fractions. A word of warning, you must know your multiplication tables. This is one of the few parts of math where rote memorization is absolutely unavoidable. The easiest way to do this is with flashcards, so I suggest making some. Going up to 15 is nice, but you really only need to know them up to 10. The second thing you simply have to remember is that the numerator is the top number and the denominator is the bottom number. Remember that the denominator denominates, or divides, the numerator into denominations.